the road. YouTube. Welcome back to my channel, YouTube. If y'all are new here, my name is Angel Uchiha. If y'all are not new, then welcome back. Make sure y'all like, comment, subscribe, run those views up. I appreciate all the hard work that y'all do to keep this channel alive, right? As y'all can see by the title of today's video, we are back with Magically Bree. You want to introduce yourself?
It's me, Magically Bree, and I'm here with Angel Uchiha. Y'all know what it is. Y'all know the vibes, and y'all
Period.
better run them likes up. Okay?
Period. Y'all better get to it.
Get them views.
So with that being said, as y'all can see today, we are getting into the topic of is it wrong
Mm-hmm.
to whoop your kids, to tap them kids' ass? Is it wrong?
And I feel like we're both qualified to talk about this topic because we're moms. We're mothers.
Yes,
So,
we,
of
we are
course.
mothers. Yep. And we've been kids before. We've been kids before, and
That
now we
part.
have kids.
Yeah.
Right. So we got both sides of it. So with that being said, let's just jump straight into it. So y'all don't know we had some technical difficulties, but we were getting into the concept of the what's been going around lately is essentially that beating our kids or whooping our kids is wrong, first and foremost, and that it's a form of trauma that has been passed down from our children, from our parents down to our children, right? So you were saying that you agree partially with that, and I was asking you to explain, what are the areas that you agree with that and where do you begin to disalign?
Okay. So, yeah, I definitely will say I do agree a little bit that this is some trauma that this residual trauma from generation to generation to generation, right? And
Mm-hmm.
more specifically in the, I would say, so-called black, families and stuff like that, because I don't know, I just feel like the way that their parents were with them would be like, shut the fuck up, I'm gonna whoop you, just listen, I'm gonna whoop you, that's always like that thing, I'm gonna whoop you, you know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? And it gives me kind of, and I might be wrong, but it does give me kind of like slave owner mentality type shit, because it's like you're not gonna talk to them, you're not gonna communicate with them, you're just gonna go straight to whooping them. So
Right.
I know that there is like a thin line between discipline and abuse. That's what I was kind of like feeling like, I don't know if that's abusive. Do you feel like, how do you feel? Do you feel like that it can be a abusive type mentality to have?
Mm-hmm. Um, Yeah, so I think there is definitely a difference between discipline and abuse, and
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that the difference is necessarily physical punishment or not, because that's where I think some people think like, oh, if you talk to your kids, if you ground them or you put them in the corner, that's discipline. If you touch them, then that's abuse. I
Mm-hmm.
don't agree with that. I think it's a matter of how and when and for what reason the spanking is implemented, right?
Mm-hmm.
I do think that a lot of our parents, no shade, I'm about to just be all the way blatant with you from my experience, right? A lot of our parents suck that communication,
Mm-hmm.
so they would use whooping or spankings as a substitute for communication, right? um and as a way to exercise their frustration out on whatever we were doing. And
Mm-hmm.
I do notice that there tends to be like, I'm trying to say this in a way that's not gonna piss nobody off. Like if you have a lower IQ, right? If you have a lower ability to articulate yourself and explain something in a way that makes sense to someone else, I feel like you're more likely to result to just hitting or screaming or yelling because you literally do not know how to communicate and articulate certain things,
Mm-hmm.
especially to a child, right? So I'm just saying that to say I definitely can see how it can overlap into abuse because it can start to get used
Right.
as a substitute for communication, or I'm just upset, I'm just frustrated and I'm lashing out,
Right.
as opposed to being used as an implement or a tool for discipline.
Yeah. I agree. I agree. Now, I don't, and I totally agree with you saying too, because I feel like you could be abusive and not put your hands on your kids and
Mm-hmm.
just be cussing them out, calling them B word, all kind of things you could be doing, or you could be neglectful and not even discipline them at all, and that could be abusive in my opinion. You're not disciplining them, you're not telling them right from wrong, you're not teaching them. So when they get grown, they're gonna fuck up a lot because we
Yeah.
did never give them that foundation. So I feel like it's a lot of nuances that come with being a parent that
Hmm.
we don't, we don't know until we become a parent. We can only go based off of, I feel like, either you gonna do what your parents did with you, or you gonna probably end up doing opposite of what they did with you. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? See, there's like one, either your reaction to how they did you is gonna make you act completely different, or you just gonna fall in line and do whatever they did.
Right. Right. And I think like for me, the balance is somewhere in between in the sense of I believe in whooping a couple of asses. I
Just a
do
little
believe
bit.
that. I do, yeah, I do believe in that. However, I do think that it should be used when it makes sense to use it. So, like for example, I know that when I was a kid, from my
Hmm.
personal experience, there were times where the only thing that was gonna convince me was to get my ass beat,
Hmm.
and I know that shit. Like I know that my grandma told me not to do something. I understood that she didn't want me to do it. I understood why she didn't want me to do it. I just wanted to do it anyways.
Right.
Right. And, you know, the only thing that kind of kept me away from doing it is knowing I'm going to get my ass beat. Right.
Okay.
Knowing that there's going to be an immediate consequence. And I'm just saying that to say because a lot of people have this mentality of, oh, just talk to your kids, just
Hmm.
explain to them. That shit don't work all the time,
They don't.
especially when you have a kid that's too young to even understand certain concepts, right?
Hmm.
So like for example with Muffin, the first time I ever started like popping her was because she used to play in the trash can. She had this
Hmm.
habit bad of like knocking the trash can over and like
Getting in the
digging all
shit.
the stuff out
Yeah.
of it.
Hmm.
Exactly. And so I tried everything. I tried like, and she was like, what, like 2 at the time, something like
Hmm.
that. I tried everything. I tried to, no, don't do that. No, no, no. Like try to show her certain things. Like,
Hmm.
but she's too young to understand what germs are.
Hmm.
She's too young to understand that, oh, there could be a can in there and you can cut your hand on it. Like,
Right.
so the best thing that I found to do was to pop her hand, like to pop
Hmm.
her, because that made her associate whatever she was doing with pain or with
Yeah.
a negative consequence. So it's like, I'm not gonna do that because I know I'm gonna get my ass popped,
Right.
right? And sometimes I think that's necessary. I feel like there's like this trend of people being like, oh, you shouldn't use pain as a discipline method. Why the fuck not? That's what happens in reality. If
Yeah.
she keep digging in that trash can, she gonna fuck around and cut her hand on something, or she's
Hmm.
gonna get sick and she's
Yeah.
gonna feel pain. So
Hmm.
it's like it makes more sense to me to pop your hand than let you keep taking shit for a joke and then you end up slicing your hand open and having to get
Right.
stitches. Exactly. So that's just my whole thing.
Yeah, and I agree. I also feel like sometimes the whooping thing need to be kind of like the last resort.
Hmm.
It should be some steps to get to the whooping, because
Yeah.
I feel like if the kids are just like so used to getting whooped, that everything, oh, this gonna give me a whooping, this gonna give me a whooping, this gonna give me a whooping. Whooping is gonna lose its power, ain't it?
It do. It
Whooping
do.
ain't gonna be effective.
It do. It do. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, and I seen that shit happen before my eyes, like with my little brother,
Hmm.
with like my cause especially with boys, I think.
Yeah,
Like
I would
with
think so.
boys, they adapt to whoopings very quick.
Yeah,
And especially as they get older, it's gonna
yeah.
come a time to where
That shit don't hurt them. It don't phase them. They just gonna.
exactly.
My brother did that.
Yeah.
He literally just looked at my mom. It was like just looking. Like, you really think I'm finna start crying and jumping around here? Like, that don't work no more. So
And
you have to be
it's
creative. You
it's
gotta
funny
be
that you say
creative.
that, bro, because I remember my last whooping ever, bro. Like I remember my last whooping. It was because I don't know if y'all ever watched Teen Wolf.
Hmm.
Teen Wolf was my fucking show. It came out in 2012, not the movie, the show, right? So I was 12 years old, and I used to every Monday, I believe at 10 o'clock, they dropped a new episode, and I used to stay up and watch it every Monday. This particular Monday, my grandma called herself, put me on punishment, and saying like I had to be in the bed. Fuck that! Like when 10 o'clock came, I got up and
Watching Teen
I
Wolf.
went to go watch my show. The fuck. And so she caught herself coming in there with the wet rag because my grandma, she didn't use a belt. She used to wet like a hand towel. She would wet it and it would
Old
get,
school.
yeah, it get
Oh,
heavy
country ass whooping.
and she'd beat your ass with the wet rag. And exactly country as hell. Like And I remember I'm watching Teen Wolf, and it's at a good part. And she came in there and she started swinging on me with the wet rag, and I was still watching the show, like okay, like I just kept watching the show, like move, girl, like, and that's when she knew. That's when
It's
she
over
knew,
with.
like, it's
Yeah.
over with. It's time to wrap the whoopings up. It's time to
Yeah.
wrap it up. So I definitely, saying that to say, I definitely think that whooping should never be your main form of discipline. It should
Hmm.
never be your only form of discipline, and you should know how to communicate and parent outside of it.
Right. I agree.
Hmm.
Get creative. Do some creative type punishments. Don't just stick to the same thing every time. Keep them guessing. My kids on. I'm very like I'm a. I don't know. What would you describe your parenting style? Because for me, I would say that I am crazy. I'm like a crazy mom. Like I'm the mom that's. Somebody said the other day, "Oh, you a cool mom, ain't you?" No, don't ever play me. I don't want to be no cool mom. I want to be the mom that you can't never guess what's coming next.
Yeah.
I want to be the
Yeah.
mom that
And
keep
you
you
done
on your
told me some of
toes.
your creative punishments that you done before. Like, and I'm like, bro, you're funny as hell.
Bro, I be trolling my kids to be honest.
Yeah.
I keep it
Yeah.
fun though.
You
But
definitely a
but
troll parent.
sometimes them punishments be sticking with them. They be thinking about that shit like, dang, I want
Yeah.
to really, yeah, you know what I'm saying? So yeah.
Yeah, you definitely a troll parent. That's for sure. I think I'm a troll parent mixed with a if you like it, I love it parent.
Hmm.
Like it's certain stuff now. Like obviously, I'm not gonna let her hurt herself,
Hmm.
but it is certain stuff that's like okay,
Free range. Yeah, I think
if
I'm
you
like
don't
that
wanna
too. Yeah,
like if you don't wanna, if I
I'm not
cook
gonna
you something
control
to
you.
eat
Yeah, I
and you
can't
wanna
control my kids. Yeah, and I
exactly.
feel like we should have this conversation in 10 years when I have teenagers and you have like, you know what I'm saying? Like when I
Hmm.
have like, well, my kids will be almost grown by that time, but it's just different ages. You know, you're gonna have different ways of punishing. It's gonna be different throughout their lives. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think. I mean, I do threaten my kids to say that I'm gonna whoop them, but if I could really count on my hands, I haven't whooped them that much in the past. Like I do whoop them. I ain't gonna lie. I whoop them when
Hmm.
I feel like it's a dire need. In this moment, I have to do it. And lately, I've been noticing that's mostly the only time I whoop them, and this may not be right, but I whoop them when they're fighting with each other or they're hurting each other because, like, you ain't gonna hurt one of my kids without thinking I ain't gonna jump on you. Look,
Exactly. Period.
you're one of my kids too, but you're not gonna bring harm to no other child up in here because that's mine. So that's
Exactly.
that's the, that's my trigger right now. Like that's probably the only thing that I really whoop them for.
Yeah.
Other than that, we could talk about it. You could get your stuff took. That's very effective with these
Hmm.
technology kids. You get your stuff took, and my daughter will tell you she can get her stuff took for any reason. I do not care. I'm
Hmm.
taking it.
Yeah.
What you gonna do? I'm taking it, and it
Yeah.
hurt
See,
more.
that's that age. Yeah.
Yeah, it hurts more to sit there in silence than it do to get your butt whooped.
Hmm.
So,
Hmm. I feel it. I think I like Muffin don't really get full blown whooping. She get popped.
hmm,
She get her ass popped. That's
yeah,
like a pop. And usually that comes about when it's like you're not listening. Like
hmm,
you're not listening. Like I'm telling you
I
repeatedly
tried.
and
Yeah,
repeatedly and repeatedly and you're not listening.
right.
Like that's when it's like, okay, let me show you something right quick. Right? But I think the most effective method for me is kind of like I said earlier, like I'm the type of parent that's gonna just how do I put it? I'm not gonna fight with you. Like I'm not gonna fight with you. It's certain stuff that I'm just if you say you don't want to eat this, let's say for example I cook something, right? And
Mhm.
she's being picky, she don't want to eat it. Don't eat it.
Okay, yeah. Your ass gonna be hungry.
You're gonna be hungry. And
Right.
guess what? 30 minutes later, maybe an hour,
I'm
she go back
hungry.
in there and get that shit
Yeah.
out the refrigerator and eat it. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
so it's like some stuff like that is like you can kind of just let kids find out on their own. Like,
Right. And
it,
not
it
stress yourself about it. Cause I feel like
exactly.
sometimes parents really be stressed out trying to control these little humans. They got their own minds.
Hmm.
I'm telling you, I've been learning with my daughter, and she's almost to that teenage age. And I want her to do certain things with her hair. I want her to do certain things. She's not gonna do it. She don't want to. She not going to. So you
Oh,
go to school looking crazy if you want to. That's it's out of my hands. You know what
mm-hmm.
I'm saying? I cannot force you. And I think that's the issue a lot of parents have is like I want to force my children to be a certain type of way. I want to control them.
Exactly. And
Only
I
to
think
find out when they
also
grow, they're their own person. As you get, you know what I'm saying? You're gonna grow to be your
exactly.
own person. So.
Exactly. And that's the thing. They're still their own persons now. Like it's
Hmm.
just little certain stuff that they're just not gonna wanna
Yeah,
do.
they don't want to
You know?
eat it. They don't, you know what I'm saying? It's
Hmm.
certain things. Yeah. So I feel like
Exactly.
parents do need to be a little bit more free range with their kids. Let them figure it out. Let them do
Hmm.
some stuff on their own. You
And then I
know.
think also like um giving them the responsibility that comes with the decisions that they make are
Yeah.
that's a good discipline right there.
Hmm.
Like so for example, Muffin will do shit where she'll like just make a big ass mess or tear the house up, whatever the case may be. Cool.
Hmm.
I ain't gonna whoop you. You gonna pick it all up. And I
Hmm.
mean you're going to pick it all up. Like
Hmm.
I do petty shit. Like I remember this one time I remember this one time I had some hibachi. I told her not to touch it. I went to go use the bathroom. I came back. Of course, she touched it, and she had spilled hibachi all over the floor. So I'm like, okay, pick it up. And I sat there and I watched that girl pick up all the one piece of rice at a time, like picking up every
Yeah.
little piece of rice off the damn floor. Do y'all know how
Man.
irritating it is to pick up a grain of rice at a
Okay.
time?
Right.
Exactly. And I bet you she didn't do that shit no more because that's annoying. Like, don't nobody want to sit there and pick up grains of
I'm
rice.
not playing. You're gonna get every little piece of it up.
Every little piece of it by hand. No, you're not using the sweeper. No, I'm not getting the broom. Nothing. You
Yeah.
you can pick it up, and
Hmm.
I feel like stuff like that is very effective as well. Like just kind of putting them in a situation to where they actually have to face the consequences of
Hmm.
their actions. Because if they fuck some shit up and you just go behind them picking it up and cleaning it up,
Couldn't be me.
it's not gonna click in their head that I just did something that had a consequence, right?
Right. Yeah.
Um, so I think that's important as well. So okay, so do you think that? So some people say that whooping your kids is a direct result of slavery, right?
Mhm.
In that especially as Black people, because we were whipped or we were punished via physical punishment,
Mhm.
we now adapt to that and are passing it on to our children. Do you think that's true, or do you think that's a bit of a myth?
A little bit, yeah, I do. I do believe it a little bit. I do, because I feel like, but I can't say I fully agree because I'm pretty sure there's white people out there whooping their children.
Yeah,
I mean, I don't know. I don't know how they live their life inside their house behind closed door. I'm pretty sure they be
but keep in
bring
mind,
it about Billy.
yeah, they do get their ass beat, but you notice that there's always been like a ongoing stereotype that white people don't be whooping their kids, or like white people
But
like the kids would
also,
be throwing temper tantrums in the store and they just
yeah,
let it happen. Like
think
so,
about it though. It may
mhm.
it might track because I feel like there's a stereotype also that white kids don't play that shit.
Yeah,
So I don't know. I don't know. I feel like I'd rather be under the I don't know. Cause I do be telling Leo sometimes, and no offense to anybody white that's watching this, we are just talking from the perspective of Black people. You know what I'm saying? We can only talk what we know.
right.
But sometimes I do be telling Leo, I'm like, dang, you think you white or something? Cause he be yelling
Yeah,
at me.
yeah. Like you be thinking
Like you think you're Billy? You not him, but
exactly just because your girl named Sally,
right.
like
But yeah, like so I do feel like there's some truth to it, but maybe not. I don't know. I don't know. That I think that's interesting. It is I don't know. Because I would think like, dang, how would we have been different if we never went through that experience? Look at the ancestors in Africa. Do they be whipping their kids? I don't think they would. I don't know. I don't know. I don't
I
know.
think they do though, because that's and see this is why I personally think it's kind of both. Like I think there can be influence, but I think the concept of whooping your kid I think the concept of whooping your kid was happening before.
Don't come in here. We talking.
I'm dead. What's up,
Do you want to
Leo?
be? Do you want to be a test subject?
Speaking of the devil,
Do you want to get proven? Do you want us to prove the theory that kids need whooping? Okay, I'm gonna whoop you after we get off of here. No. No, but go
He
put
said,
that
mm-hmm.
boxing song. Go.
But yeah,
Go, Leo.
so I'm dead. But yeah, so I think that it could be a possibility that us in America today, this is the
Mm-hmm.
reason why we whoop our kids. But I think when we zoom out and we look at the concept of whooping a child in general, it was going on long before slavery in America,
Mm-hmm.
right? And people do be beating their kids in Africa, and I think it could have something to do with the influence of Abrahamic religions
Mm-hmm.
because it's
Yeah.
in the Bible to like whoop your kids and stuff
Yeah.
like that.
True.
Like I think there's multiple different contributing factors, and I don't
Yeah.
think it started with
And
slavery in
then we
America.
also have to think about it. Kids is bad. They do
That's
bad stuff.
fuck.
They do stuff. They do stuff that warrants whoopings. Nobody ever like can say, "Oh, I have a kid that they never did nothing wrong."
Hmm.
Kids do that. That's part of their learning and growing experience. So I don't know. I feel like every culture probably does have their whoopings, and
I feel like
I
you
feel
can't
like
gentle parent all kids, bro. Some kids
yeah,
is not gentle,
no,
so you can't gentle parent them.
no, because then you'll be looking crazy. They'll be done whooped you. Then what you
Exactly.
gonna do?
And it be happening. That's the thing. It be happening. Like you see, because that's the thing. To go along with that stereotype of like white people not like whipping their kids, there's
Hmm.
also the stereotype of that fuck you, mom, like
Yeah,
that white
yeah,
kid that just disrespect the fuck out their parents or beat their parents,
right.
stuff like that.
Mm-mm.
No. And I kind of seen that happen with my grandmother because as she got older in age,
Hmm.
she couldn't like do that as much, especially with my little brother. And I saw the difference in like me, I did stuff, but I was scared of my grandma. Not
Hmm.
only did I love her and respect her, but I was scared. Like I was scared. My
Hmm.
little brother, he may have loved her, but he wasn't scared. And I
Right.
saw how he would like
Disrespect her.
throw
Yeah.
shit at her. Like he yeah. You and he was a little boy. Imagine once he got to a bigger age. Like
Right.
so I'm just saying that to say I think that it is certain kids that you have to like
Yeah.
be firm with them
Gotta
because
get
they
them
gonna be
together.
firm with you.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then I think it's interesting how they kind of like make it to where it's like, oh, well, you can't cause a child any type of harm or sadness or whatever the case may be when it comes to parenting. But then we got situations where 14-year-old kids are getting life sentences.
Right.
So, so it's like I've even seen teenagers getting capital punishment. Like, so I'm just saying that to say I think that there's like this sensitivity around disciplining our children in a way that's going to make them feel negative emotions. But I feel like this world is not easy on children, you know?
On
It's,
people in general, this is not no gentle world we live
it's not
in.
exactly.
So, and then I feel like, yeah, it goes into that. And I think my daughter, she be getting mad at me sometimes because the way I talk, I don't sugarcoat things. I'm not going to just say it's sweet because you're a little kid. Because when you get out in the world, them kids, they worse than I will be. They're going to talk about you bad. So, would you rather it come from your mama so you can course correct and get yourself together? Or would you
Hmm.
rather go out in the world and let them get on you because they're not gonna save your feelings. They don't care. The world does not
Exactly.
care.
They don't care.
So
You got to toughen your kids up, and I respect that because I think that's the reason I never could be bullied because my grandma was a bully.
yes,
You know,
exactly. Me too.
like
Yep.
my grandma used to, you know, she would
Yep.
she would be
You
on my
can't hurt
ass,
my
right?
feelings. My mama already hurt my feelings enough for the day. So how you gonna hurt me?
Exactly.
Like, you
So
know
when I
what I'm
went to
saying?
school, like that bullying shit did not work. I'm
Yeah.
not finna cry. I'm not finna, oh my
Yeah.
God, like I'm finna cuss you out. We finna go back and forth because I know how to handle myself. I know how to talk.
Exactly.
I know how
I
to
love it.
absorb.
Yep.
Exactly. And I feel like when you coddling your kids, what are you coddling them for? That's the thing that I don't understand is like when you raising this child to be soft and gentle and,
Hmm.
you know, and then you send them out into the world.
Hmm. And maybe they don't want their kids to ever go out into the world to see that it takes a lot of grit to make it. And you're not giving your kids that grit. You're
Yeah.
making them, sensitive and it's yeah. So
And
mm,
it's gonna chew them up. This
yeah.
world gonna chew them up. I'm telling you, like that's why I was saying like you raising your child to think that the biggest consequence they'll ever face is standing in a corner,
Hmm.
right? Or whatever the case may be. And it's like that same child can grow up and become 14 years old and then get sentenced to life in prison for a mistake
Yeah.
that they made. So it's like, why are we teaching our children that because they're children, nothing bad will happen to them and nothing negative and nothing and their feelings need to be protected at all costs? That's not what I want to talk about. I feel like that mentality is low key kind of raising like baby narcissists.
Mm-hmm.
Like we was having a conversation the other day on Facebook about like who eats first, right? Like who do you make a plate for, your man first or your kids,
Mm-hmm.
whatever the case may be. And one of the things that I kept seeing from the people that said you're supposed to make a plate for your kids first was, I want my kids to know that they always come first, and you know they're like their children, like their feelings are most important and blah blah blah. And I'm like, why?
Mm-hmm.
Like, fuck the plate. Like, but just the mentality of you thinking like, I want my children to know that they always come first.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that like raising a child to be kind of narcissistic, to think
Yeah,
that
because you don't
regardless of
always
what,
come first,
you
right?
don't?
And and
Exactly.
and then that takes me to thinking about like people who's like, oh, you gotta share your stuff. My kids don't have to necessarily share with your kid. They don't
They
know your
don't.
kids. You know what I'm saying? I'm not one of them parents.
Man,
You know
I
what I'm
come from a
saying?
household where you get your ass whooped for sharing your stuff. Like if my grandma send me, I don't know, like if she buy me something
And then you done shared
and
it
I didn't
all.
gave it away, like
Yeah,
I'm getting my ass beat. Like,
right. So yeah, I think we have a lot of different parents out there, but I also feel like a lot of those gentle parents be capping. Y'all gentle for the internet. Behind them closed doors, you probably just as mean as you want to be to your kids. But I don't
I
know.
swear to God. I agree. I think they be fucking capping. Like they be trying to get on here acting like they give a whole sermon
You
to
the
their
best
kid.
parent in the world. Yeah, no, you're not.
Like, hold on, Bobby. I know you're feeling really big feelings right now, and you don't know what to do with them, and I'm feeling them too. Girl, you're not doing that shit when that nigga.
On a daily basis. Yeah, come on.
Exactly. You're not doing that shit, bro. When you come out and you see your walls then got permanent marker all over them, you're not coming out there like,
You're so creative.
wow, so creative. I see you wanted to express some very big feelings on the wall. And wow, mommy is just blown away.
But
Girl, you're not doing that.
and I would feel bad for the kids that are done like that because when you go to school, if you go to school, them teachers not gonna do you like that. You do something wrong, they be ready to, you know what I'm saying? So yeah, that's an interesting topic. That this is a good topic to have. I feel like more people need to think about like what's real when it comes to parenting. Are you being real with yourself? Are
Exactly.
you are you are you sugar? Are you putting your kids into that sugar coated like fantasy world or what?
Hmm.
You know?
And I feel like a lot of people got too much opinions on what a bad parent is, in all honesty. Like, from what I've been seeing online, is like, I've seen all kinds of stuff. I've seen all
Mm-hmm.
kinds of like, and this is why I don't really post too much of my kid. Um, because you see all the time where somebody will post like a simple video of like their kid playing in a pool or something, and then you'll have like a bunch of people in the comments like, "Oh my god, I didn't like the way that she sat him down,"
Yeah. Oh, I
like,
see that all the time. Yeah.
and I'm like,
Oh my
bro, shut
God,
the fuck
yeah.
up.
And I think some of that advice may be a little helpful, you know what I'm saying? It made me think about Krisha when she had the baby, like
Yeah.
yeah. I mean,
Hmm.
maybe she did need a little helping hand or some advice. And sometimes that advice could be helpful. I do see them all the time talking about, oh, you can't feed them. I don't know. It be little stuff, and I do find that kind of irritating. But you know what I don't like? And I don't know if I would say I would never do this, but I don't like when people go online to like punish their kids in the form of like embarrassment. Like you're not gonna just sit here and embarrass my child. Like I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I
I
don't really
think,
like that.
like, not trying to insert my opinions into their life, whatever, but
Uh-huh.
just from my, since you put it on the fucking internet, I can.
Yeah,
Um, that shit is the real abuse, in my
yeah.
humble opinion. Like, I seen like the girl that like, I guess she had an Instagram and she wasn't supposed to have an Instagram. She didn't even do nothing crazy. All she did was have an Instagram.
Hmm.
And the mom like went live on the girl's Instagram and just was like, "Yeah, you be having doo doo streaks in your panties, like you can't even
Yeah,
wipe your
see shit
ass
like that.
good.
I would never do nothing like that because
Why
that
would you do
that's
that?"
just like insensitive.
Yeah, and then it's like they fucked up one time, but that video is gonna be out there forever. And
Right.
like, especially in like smaller towns and stuff, like, you
And
think that
then they
shit gonna
give the
just go away?
kid
It's not gonna go away.
you giving basically you giving other kids permission to fuck with your child now
Yeah.
because oh look at your mama did look ha your mama said this like
Yeah, exactly.
no it'll never get like that.
Yeah, that's absolutely ridiculous. That's
Yeah,
absolutely ridiculous.
yeah. So
So, hmm and that goes back to
how
the
do you
first
feel?
one.
I got a
Yeah.
question for you. How do you feel about like other people trying to discipline your kids, and what ways are permissible and what will you not allow?
Um. So I think anybody who's not raising my child with me don't got no
Mhm.
business.
Doing nothing.
Yeah, unless well, so I can see. I put it like this. I think anybody that plays a authoritative pick like role in that child's life should have the ability to discipline them.
Mm-hmm.
So like if you're dropping your kids off at your mom's house or whatever the case may be when you go to work, then
Mm-hmm.
she has to be the disciplinary and the authority figure whilst you're not there,
Yeah.
right? So to me that makes sense. Anybody that I'm like letting like babysit my child, watch my child,
Mm-hmm.
or take my child when I'm not around, like things of that nature. I think it makes sense for them to be a disciplinary figure. But that's why I've never been a person that's quick to get a babysitter.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll always take my daughter with me wherever I go. Even when I
Yeah.
went to work, the only person who watched my daughter was my grandmother who raised me. So,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah, I do feel like it takes a lot of trust for you to allow somebody to discipline your kids. But then I also hear like my grandparents say, "Oh yeah, when we was coming up, the neighborhood people, the neighbors could whoop you. The neighbors would, and then you'll get in trouble when you get back home. And like, I don't
hmm
know, I feel like that's a little excessive. You're not gonna be whooping my child,
yeah,
but
exactly.
I do feel like you could say something to them. I would
Yeah.
never want you to, if you see my kid doing something that you know they damn well not supposed to be doing,
hmm
please tell them. Please say something to them, just to let them know that people got eyes on you. People can see
hmm
you. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like that kind of thing. So, and I'm that type of person. Like if I see a kid doing something that I know damn, I don't care if I don't know them. Why
hmm
the hell you climbing up on that damn shelf like that? Get down. And your
Yeah.
mom could be standing right there. What's she gonna tell me? Oh, don't tell my kid to get down off the shelf. Okay, so you want your kid now? Me and you finna get into it because now you want your kid to fall.
Exactly. And
You
you
know what
sound
I'm saying?
dumb. Yeah, it'd be look, now me, I'm the type of person I just be minding my business. Like I'll be watching
Yeah,
people doing it.
yeah,
But
yeah.
but I've
I
had people
really,
say something to Muffin because she was
uh-huh.
like doing some extra shit, and it don't bother me. Like
Yeah,
at the end of the day, you weren't supposed to be doing that, right?
exactly. What can I say? Yeah, you was not supposed to be doing that. So yeah,
hmm
and I do feel like maybe I don't know, because
But I
I'm
do
that
feel
type of
like it's
person.
a
I be
thin
telling
line
people
with that
anything.
shit because it's like I'm very different.
Mm-hmm.
So if I had like the standard American like Western way of doing things, then I wouldn't care if the neighbors all pitched in. However, I'm
Yeah.
very different.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a lot of shit you might see my daughter do that you don't agree with, or there's shit that you might want your kids to do that I won't agree with. So
Mm-hmm.
I do think there's a thin line between that in the sense of you can't,
What's right and wrong? Yeah.
yeah, you can't always assume that you need to check my child about something
Yeah.
because I don't agree with that shit,
Mm-hmm.
right?
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
Yep, yep. Well, I think I pretty much said all I had to say about this topic.
Okay.
Um,
What do the people think? Now that's what I'm interested to see. Who thinks whooping shit like what do y'all think on this stuff that we talked about?
yeah, drop that in the
Please
comment
comment.
section below, y'all.
Because I
Please,
want to
like
hear
y'all
it.
be ghost watching.
Engage,
What
engage.
is up with
Because
that?
this is really a conversation. When she do her podcast, it's a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not just for us to talk about, it's for also people that's watching to talk about.
Period. Period. Exactly, y'all. Make sure y'all drop a comment. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, share the video, all of that good stuff. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers, y'all. I need some money.
Money on.
I need to get monetized so I can make some coins. Like,
Right.
stop playing with me.
Period. And
But all
follow
right.
me on Instagram, y'all, at Magically Bree.
Yep, go follow her, y'all. Go show her some love.
Okay.
And subscribe to her channel. She got a channel too.
Magically Bree, you'll find it.
Okay. Peace, y'all. Oh wait, with my twin, we be vibing. Period.